Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic astrology. And if you are watching it as a replay, there would be first I will present my uh, you know work with Rahu and Ketu about the topic, and you can have question and answer session at the end of this video. Those who are watching it live, welcome to the live session. In this video, we are going to talk about the Rahu and Ketu and how you can master Rahu and Ketu. Okay, so let's jump into that. Let's jump into that. But before that, I want you guys to confirm the audio and video. Just confirm as AV and just put thumbs up and just confirm if you're able to hear me properly. Bin is saying hello, Prasad. Hello, Bin. Are you able to hear me? Yes. Yeah. Audio, video, both okay? Yes. Okay. Great. So today, you know the. Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Thank you, Ayushi Pandit. Thank you. Okay. So today's topic is Rahu and Ketu and how you can master Rahu and Ketu. The three-step formula to master Rahu and Ketu. I have already made a lot of videos on Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu are not planets. Yes, Rahu and Ketu are the astronomical mathematical points of intersection. Earth is revolving around the sun. Okay, it has its orbit, and moon is revolving around the earth. So when moon's orbit around the earth intersects earth's orbit around the sun on the north of the moon, north of the earth, it's called north node of the moon. And on the south, it shows south node of the moon. Okay, which is Rahu and Ketu. North node is Rahu, south node is Ketu. But it is about, and that's why it is the soul's journey. That's why if you could work on your Rahu and Ketu, you would have, you would be, 90% of your things you would be able to fix. You don't need any kind of remedies. Okay, yes, some of the people have some acute intense karmas, but for most of us, if you could work with Rahu and Ketu, you don't have to worry about any other planet. Those planets will work on they will work absolutely fine because it has sun involved into this, it has moon involved into this. Sun is your soul, moon is your mind, and all this is happening around the earth, which is pretty much your ascendant or physical experience into this life. So the journey of the soul, the experience of that soul, is very much summed up by Rahu and Ketu. Okay, there are a lot of negative things around Rahu and Ketu. Yes, Rahu and Ketu brings in changes in one's life. Whenever you are going through the Rahu transit, Rahu return, Rahu Mahadasha, Rahu Antradasha, transiting of Rahu over your specific Lord, then you have to be really careful about it. Okay, then it really makes you work. Okay, Just a second. Okay. And that's why this Rahu and Ketu is super important. Okay. And yes, before that, before we start into our session, I want to tell you something. Tomorrow at 7 a.m., early morning, I'll be conducting a free live workshop regarding how to read the Vamsha chart. Okay. And if you have not registered for it, you can register yourself into this. You can register yourself with this link. Just go to this link and you would be able to just go to this link and let me pin this for you. Great. Now you would be able to see this. Okay. So if you want to register yourself for tomorrow's workshop, this workshop is at 7 a.m. And in this workshop, we'll be talking about how to read Navamsha chart, relationships, and all kinds of myths you have around this or the queries you have around this. Okay, so I don't know how much time it will be. We might have like 45 minutes session, or it may long till 1 hour. I don't know. Okay, I have not planned it, but I want to give you the most premium content. And this workshop is for free. Okay, but don't think just because it's free it's a waste of time. Okay, don't think like that. I'm going to you know uh, share this content with my members, with my students, okay, as a premium content. And it is a premium content. Okay, so if you are willing to spend time, you should definitely check out this workshop. Okay, that would really help you, that would really help you to understand the Navamsha. Okay, so yeah, just go for it. Now coming back to the Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu are Rahu and Ketu are the are the nodes, and these are the points which brings in changes in your life. Wherever you have these planets placed in, there is an intense acute karma pending around that house. You will see that Rahu and Ketu are always 180 degrees away from each other. So this is nothing but a Swarabhanu, the Asura, whom Lord Vishnu cut his head with Sudarshan. So they are always opposite to each other. Ketu does not have a head. His head is Rahu. So now you would see how this is placed in. So you have Rahu placed in here in some house, and you have Ketu placed in some house. Okay, so this is how to decode the Rahu. Okay, today we are going to see the three-step formula to master Rahu and Ketu. And what is that? Okay, so the one one of the most important formula to look for is always look for the house. I'm just putting in a comment and I'll share that comment so that you would be able to see that. Okay, so house of the planet. Okay, so this is how you this is how you judge any this is how you judge any Rahu and Ketu combination. Let me just share this. Okay, Okay, so the house of Rashi, house of the Rahu, house of the Rashi, and the Lord of the Rahu Ketu. Okay, so when you have to judge any Rahu Ketu combination, first thing you have to do is look at the house of Rahu and Ketu. I've just put in Rahu. You can, you just, you can say it as Rahu and Ketu. Okay, so the house of the Rahu and Ketu shows the area of change in one's life. For example, if you have Rahu placed into the fourth house of your horoscope, or let's say in the sixth house of horoscope, so the change agent Rahu is going to bring in transformation in the sixth house of your area of your life. What is sixth house? Sixth house is about your daily routines, discipline, about enemies, arguments, separation, diseases. Okay, and now that would be the focus point into one's life. Okay, so the person has to strive for these things in life. It seems not a good house, right, to pursue, but that's how karma works. Sixth house shows the area of the change in one's life, and similarly it applies to Ketu in the 12th house. Ketu will bring in change into the 12th house of the person. First thing is the house of the Rahu or Ketu. Second is the Rashi of the Rahu and Ketu. Rashi of the Rahu and Ketu tells you about the reason and the way this Rahu and Ketu is going to operate into this house. For example, Rahu in the Rahu in the sign of Virgo in the sixth house is way different than Rahu in the Pisces in the sixth house. Okay, it's not the same. Though the placement, the area of change is sixth house, the way it operates changes with the sign. But here you have to learn what exactly changes with the sign. The things which changes with the sign is the element. Okay, whether Rahu is in the fiery Aries sign in the sixth house, or is in the earthy Virgo sign, or is in the airy Gemini sign. And this is how it brings in the changes. So sixth house shows you the area, or any house shows you the area. The Rashi tells you more about how this Rahu is going to operate into this area. Whether this sixth house Rahu is going to give you any mysterious diseases, or it is going to bring in any kind of enmity. Or I have also seen people in Rahu in the sixth house extremely fearless. Okay, they don't fear anybody and they have disciplined life. So they have to organize themselves, right? So we saw that placement of Rahu in the house. Then we had Rashi of the planet, like the Rashi in which that planet is placed in, that shows the element, and more so how this Rahu or Ketu is going to operate, its reason for operation, and its way of operation can be seen with the Rashi. And the next thing is the Lord of the Rahu Ketu. You will oftentimes hear that Rahu gives its effect like its Lord, because it's not a planet. It does not have its own physical planet like identity. So, whichever sign is ruling that planet, the Lord of that planet, the Lord of that Rashi, will have an impact on Rahu. For example, let's say in the similar example, Rahu is in the sixth house, Ketu is in the 12th house, and Rahu is in the sign of Aries, okay, which is into the, which is ruled by Mars, and Ketu is ruled by Ketu is ruled by, Ketu is in the sign of Libra, so it is ruled by Venus. So more than the sixth house placement of Rahu, 12th house placement of Ketu being in 1 and 7th house, what really decides the fate or the healing of these nodes is the placement of Mars and Venus. Why Mars and Venus? Because they are ruling the houses occupied by Rahu and Ketu. Okay, in our example, this is ruling uh, the Mars is ruling the sixth house and Venus is ruling the eighth house. That's why Mars and Venus becomes important. Now, imagine this Mars being a sixth lord is going into the fourth house. Sixth house is the house of arguments, fourth house is the house of your emotions, and is the ruler of Rahu. Is way too different than this Mars is going into the eighth house and that Ketu is coming into certain. So now there could be, 100 other combinations with this. We'll look into that. But this is the 3-step formula you should follow in order to understand what's happening with Rahu and Ketu. And once you do this, you will master Rahu and Ketu. You will be able to start decoding the areas where these Rahu and Ketu are working. And this will really help you to take your understanding about Rahu and Ketu to the next level. And when I say next level, it's like you are scared of Rahu and Ketu because you have a feeling that they are going to hurt you, because they are going to, bring in some challenges. But this is not always the case. Rahu can give you tremendous success. Rahu can give you a lot of wealth. Ketu can give you some intuitions, spiritual insights, can bring in some kind of a uh, unique psychic abilities depending upon the conjunctions and the house placements. Okay, so this becomes important. Now we will look into some of the examples which will help us to understand, which will really help us to understand this. Okay, so now you're able to see this. This is the chart of right now. I just casted the chart for right now, just before this session. And now you would see that this is a Leo Lagna, and you would see Rahu is in the ninth house, and Ketu is in the Rahu is in the ninth house in Bharani Nakshatra, and Ketu is in the third house in the Swati Nakshatra. Right? So now let's apply this formula which we learned right now. So first thing is, where is Rahu placed in? What are the houses? The axis which is impacted by these Rahu Ketu placement is 3 and 9. So third house is the house of self effort. Ninth house is the house of your belief system. So Rahu and Ketu is going to bring in some transformation in the area of this person's belief system. The things he believes in. He may not believe in astrology. Okay? And suddenly in Rahu Mahadasha, he wants to explore Mahadasha, uh, wants to explore astrology, maybe as a skeptic initially, but he wants to give it a try to something which is foreign to him, something which is beyond him. Right? I see people from all over the world, you know, uh, get attracted, feel driven towards astrology. Okay, so this drive, this pull can be seen with the Rahu in the ninth house. And let's say this person, now I'm adding one more layer to it. Let's say if this person is going through the Rahu Mahadasha, that's when this gets activated, right? And he will feel it more about that placement. Now, next thing we look for is the Rashi of the planet. The Rashi of the planet, again in this example also, 1 and 7. That is Rahu is placed into the sign of Aries, that is ruled by Mars, and Ketu in the sign of Libra, ruled by Venus. So again, for me, Venus and Mars becomes important, and you will see that Mars is placed into the 10th house, right, which is second to the Rahu. And Ketu, the ruler of the Ketu is Venus, is placed fifth from the Ketu and 11th from the Rahu. You have to see these things. You have to see these things. Like for Mars, which is ruler of the Rahu, is 6 places away from the Ketu, which is like a Dushtana house to Ketu, right? But the Lord of the Ketu, Venus, is the 11th from the Rahu, which is the house of Labha, right? So when the Lord of this Rahu and Ketu are in Dushtana from each other, or let's say they are exalted, let's say they are conjunct, whatever the condition of these lords, that really gives you the understanding about the true condition of Rahu and Ketu. How these things, how these Rahu and Ketu are going to behave, operate into this person's chart, right? Let's say this person is born in the same Rahu Ketu in 1 7 axis, but let's say Mars has moved to some other Rashi and Venus has also moved to some other Rashi. Okay, let's see if we can take this example. I'm just randomly taking this chart to July 2023, and let's see what's happening in there. Right, so now you would see that to the same Rahu and Ketu, there are two changes happening here. You would see here Mars and Venus are now conjunct into the sign of Leo. Okay, and you would also see some planets conjunct with Rahu and Ketu. Okay, so now this Rahu Ketu becomes altogether different. Though they are in Aries and Libra, it is far more different than what we have seen for January 2023. Okay, conjunctions to nodes completely change the interpretation. The lords of this, now you will see that the lord of the Rahu, that is Mars, is 5 places away from Rahu. Okay, which is a trinal house, which is not a 6 8 or 12th from itself, and the lord of the Ketu is 11th from itself, and it conjuncts the Rahu. Now you would see that the lord of the Rahu and Ketu are conjunct in one house. Okay, this is something which you have to analyze, and that's what we do when we see the condition of a planet in a chart. Okay, and that's how we look at Rahu and Ketu. Okay, so I hope this has helped you. Now let's go through the questions. Devendra, what would be impact if Rahu is in the first house with Venus and Sun, and Ketu in the seventh house with Harshal, with Taurus ascendant Kundali? Please help guide. Okay, so whenever we see Rahu conjunct with Sun, and Rahu is conjunct with, Rahu is a planet which is about the confusion and amplification, and Sun is the planet of self. So when Rahu conjunct with Sun, it amplifies your ego. It gives you the feeling that yes, I'm someone. It makes you feel good about yourself. Your self-esteem increases, but at the same time people find it difficult to deal with you. And it also shows you how to work towards yourself, the Sun, into this lifetime. That's why Rahu, the future of this soul, is conjunct with the soul of this person, the Sun, the Karaka of the soul. Okay, and when Rahu and Venus is also conjunct. This becomes really intense when it is happening in the first house, because ascendant, the first house, is the house which shows and tells a lot about yourself. Okay, and now you have the planet of self, the sun is in this house. More so, you also have Rahu, the future of this soul into this journey in this lifetime. So for this person, the Taurus, the relationship things become important. So these people, I mean, Devendra, if you're listening to me, uh, it might make you interested into relationship. It will make you obsessed about the relationship and the money, which is the second house, the Taurus, and also the food. It also conjuncts Rahu and Venus. Venus is Asuras. Venus is Asuras, guru, and Rahu is in Swarabhanu, which is an Asura himself. So when the Rahu conjuncts with Venus, Venus guides that person. Venus guides his disciple Rahu into, fulfilling his wishes. Okay, and Rahu conjunct with Sun is also kind of an eclipse. So you will not feel confident about yourself. You will always doubt yourself. So you need to work a lot on yourself. Okay, I hope this has helped you. Let's move on to the next question. Rahu in Pisces in Revati, fourth pada, in fifth with aspect of Jupiter, Sun, and Ketu, which resides in 11th, Scorpio ascendant. Let's check what's happening in. Let's make this chart as Scorpio ascendant and see if we can visualize about this question. So this Bin is saying Rahu is in fifth house Pisces, okay, with the aspect of Jupiter, Sun, and Ketu, which resides in the 11th house. Okay, Scorpio ascendant. Okay, so according to a formula, first thing you have to do is look at the houses involved, fifth and 11th. Fifth house is the house of mature self. First house is yourself. Fifth house is your mature self, the next stage. And the ninth house is the higher self. So now Rahu is in the fifth house of the self. So again, you have to work on yourself, who you are. It will make you work towards your your soul purpose, because fifth house is eighth from the 10th. So it might impact your education, and it also brings in some up and down in your career, because fifth, though it is a self house, it is eighth from the 10th. And this is how you have to see the planets. You can conclude this. if you have if you have some issues with your self discovery, that can impact your career, or that can impact your influence, that can impact your karma, the 10th house. Okay, the fifth house of self, if it is volatile, up and down, lacks foundation, then it upsets your career. Okay, because fifth house is also about the education, which is pretty much important for your career. Not the formal education, but you should know something about your craft, about the things you want to do, about the things you want to devote your life to, right? So this is how you look at this placement. And when Jupiter conjuncts with Ketu and Sun, it makes you a perfectionist. It makes you, always doubt yourself, always be harsh on yourself, always want to uh, get into things which is impossible. Okay, that imposter syndrome, wherein you feel like, I'm not good enough, and always looking for improvement. To some extent, it is important, it is very good to improve and work on self improvement, but at one point it becomes annoying to yourself. Okay, so you just have to come out of this. Okay, Bin, please let me know if this helped you. Let's move on to the next question. Next question: how to control Rahu if that meet in human form? I didn't get this question. How to control Rahu if that meet in human form? I didn't get you. Rahu and Moon in 12th house Pisces and Sun Ketu in Virgo. Yeah, exactly. That's what someone we right now just discussed about this. The uh, exactly opposite scenario where in Scorpio ascendant we had Rahu in the fifth house and Ketu in the 11th house in Virgo. Okay, but I think we forgot to talk about Ketu Virgo. Let's talk about this in accordance with this question. So this Ketu in Virgo, Ketu is a planet which is analyzing. Virgo is a sign which is analyzing, and Ketu is about the finished work. So this also shows you may not have uh, you may have like an eye for detail. You can be picky when Ketu is in the Virgo sign. And again, this can be annoying to your partner, annoying to your friends, right? But yeah, you just add all these interpretations to the previous interpretation which we discussed for that Scorpio ascendant, fifth house Rahu and 11th house Jupiter Ketu Sun conjunction. I hope this has helped you. Okay. So, Reva, how about the effect of Rahu Ketu in conjunction with retrograde planets? It's a good question. Okay. So, each planet, Rahu and Ketu, by the way, are always retrograde. And when it conjuncts with a retrograde planet, uh, I don't really consider them as anything different. The retrograde planet. Why? I get a lot of questions as, oh, if I get uh, debilitated planet retrograde, did will it become like an exalted planet? I mean, this is a myth. Okay, it doesn't become an exalted planet because all this is happening uh, astronomically because of its closeness to the Earth, that planet's closeness to the Earth, and it is an uh, apparent motion of going backward. It doesn't literally go backward. I have already discussed this in the retrogression video. You can go and check that. But that's how it works. That's how it does. But retrogression is, the strength of the planet. In Shadbala, the retrogression is considered as a Cheshtabala, the strength of a movement. So when the planet is retrograde, it becomes powerful. And Rahu and Ketu are already powerful to bring in change. So the planet of change conjunct with another powerful planet. So how you judge it? First, you have to see the conjunction of it. How does these two planets get along? What do they, how do you feel when they, uh, how do you think they will connect with each other with the thread? Like, what are the common points they can talk about when they connect? Okay, that's how you have to see the conjunctions. Okay, but by the virtue of being retrogression, it doesn't really guarantee or doesn't really mean anything specific apart from its conjunction and connection with each other's signification. Okay, that is far more important. Let's go to the next question. Moon Ketu in the ninth house Aquarius has has suffered with intense anxiety. Once was a big in spirituality, now agnostic. Okay, when you have Moon and Ketu conjunction, it is. I have already made a separate video on that. Let me see if I could get that video. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to bring that. Just going to pull that. Here it is. Okay, so you can go and check this video. Okay, but answer to your question, whenever there is a conjunction of Ketu and Moon, there is always something to do with the fears in childhood, some kind of a trauma in the childhood. Okay, so you have to work with the psychologist, you have to work with, a therapist to get out of that fear. Okay, and that would really help you. Okay, and ninth house is about spirituality and your higher self, but when Moon is conjunct with Ketu, there is some unknown fear and feeling of vacant from within, which is unexplainable, and that's why we feel depressed and anxious. Okay, I'm not a professional psychologist or psychiatrist to guide you on this, but I would definitely recommend you to visit doctor, take help from a therapist if you are into depression or anxiety. That would really help you. Don't just go and watch any YouTube video. Go to the professional doctor, ask him about your problem, and that will really help you. Okay, but from astrological perspective, when Moon and Ketu conjunct, it shows some childhood fear and trauma. That's what you have to heal. Okay, and it also shows it's, you know you have to get out of a feeling of controlling things. You can't control everything in your life. There are some things which are beyond your control. Okay, once you know this, you will start feeling good about it. Rahu in the fifth house, Aquarius, Ketu in the 11th house, Leo, Ascendant, Libra. Yes, we discussed about 11th and 5th house. Yeah, makes sense. I have Ketu in the 4th house and Rahu in the 10th house. I'm confused and not able to settle in career. Yeah. So, whenever you have this placement, what it shows is your feelings are more important than what you do. Because what you do is exactly connected with how you feel. You should feel good in order to, you doing something. Okay, you can go and watch my video on Rahu Ketu in the 4th and the 10th house. But yeah, Ketu in the 4th house is a very, very intense position to deal with. It's it makes you feel uh, weird, and it makes you feel sad. It's like you're attracting that sadness in your life. You want to, uh, you know you want to sacrifice for others about how you feel. You should not do that if you have Ketu in the 4th house. Okay, now next question is Rahu in Kumbha, first placement. Okay, can you give us, so Rahu exaltation sign, Taurus or Gemini? What do you think? Yeah, one sign I like about uh, Taurus, about the Rahu is Virgo. Okay, you can consider both of them as a sign of exaltation for it. Okay, you don't have to get into that confusion. Okay, because this is not a planet, so it's really not right to say it is exalted in a literal sense. Okay, but yes, these planets or these points, when come into the sign of Mercury or Venus, they do well. What is the result of Rahu placed in 30 degrees away from combustor? It is too specific, I won't be able to cover this. Okay, so next is Rahu's Sun, Mercury in the 8th house, Saturn in the 10th, Mars in the 4th, Jupiter in the 5th. Ascendant, high career in the military. Excellent, great. Ketu and Moon in 6th house, Rohini Nakshatra, Rahu in 12th, Anuradha Nakshatra, Ascendant Sagittarius. Is Moon with Ketu affect to the mind? Yes, definitely. Okay, it also shows we have discussed about moon and Ketu. I have already shared the video as well, the link of the video. Go and watch that video. Also read the comments there, because I answer those comments. It will help you. Rahu ninth, Rahu Lord, Venus in the fourth. Few words about Rahu Mahadasha, please. Yeah, when Rahu Mahadasha comes in, it again, it all depends upon which houses are getting activated. Okay, because those are the areas in your chart which are going to get activated. For example, in your chart, the Rahu is in the ninth house, and if Rahu Mahadasha is starting, it will activate the ninth house. It will also activate the fourth house, because the Lord of the Rahu, which is in Taurus, the Lord of the Taurus, Venus, goes into the fourth house. Fourth house is 8 places away from the ninth house where Rahu is placed in. So this Rahu will bring in changes, transformations during the Rahu Madasha, especially Rahu Venus Antradasha, right? The Lord of the Rahu, let's say you're going through Rahu Madasha, Venus Antradasha, that's when this Rahu will bring in some transformation, maybe through relationships or maybe through home environment, as the fourth house is also involved, right? That's how you have to see the activations. I have Venus, Mars, Ketu in Pisces in D9 first house. How can I determine my future spouse with D9, 7? I don't know. Okay. You should focus more on D1. And if you want to know more about this, I'm going to conduct a session tomorrow morning, my time, 7 a.m. You can join that. Okay. But again, this is too specific. And I really request all of you not to get carried away by, uh, about the spouse description and where I will meet my spouse. I don't know that. Okay, I don't do that kind of a readings. Okay, what would be the location, whether I will meet him in hotel or whether I'll be meeting him in a library? I don't know. Okay, there must be some people who can do it. They have mastered it. They must have some secrets, but I don't know, and I can't just make up things which I don't know. So if you have any question around the spouse description, the only thing I can tell you is up through the Darakaraka, the nakshatra of the Darakaraka, the nakshatra of the seventh lord, and if you have a real chart, we can uh, see the ascendant of that person and so on. But I don't know any secret which you expect me to tell you about where you would meet your spouse and all. Okay, apologies for that. Let's keep it simple. Now, let's go to Rahu in the fifth house, Aquarius, Ketu in the 12th house. So, yeah, if Rahu is in the fifth house, Ketu will be in the 11th house, not 12th house. I think, uh, yeah. So, Venus aspects from the Libra, Jupiter from 9, Saturn. Yeah, this becomes more specific. So, I'm not able to visualize it quickly right now. Apologies for that. Yeah, yeah, you have corrected it here. I get you. It's okay. Yes, exactly. I feel I'm here to heal others and give happiness to others, and it makes me feel good. But logically, I'm reaching nowhere with this. Okay, yeah. So you should also follow your heart. I know it sounds cliche, but what happens when you follow your heart is you can get through the difficult days. Let's say you don't know. Many people come. I want to become YouTuber, but they don't like to create videos, so they can't survive. Right? So you just follow your heart and do what you love to do, and you will survive for the good days. Okay. So I always believe that you should do things which you like, even if you feel it does not have any future. You should still do it. Okay. You should not do things just because it has a future, but you don't like, because you won't be able to continue those things, and then it becomes difficult to uh, work into that. Okay, I hope this has helped you, Rakiji. Easy, thank you, sir. God bless you. Yes, thank you. I appreciate and grateful for your blessings. So does Mars Ketu conjunction show multiple properties? I have Ketu in the first house, which Sagittarius. Yeah, with the properties, you have to look for the fourth house, and you also have to see the Chaturthamsha. Thank you so much. Yes, Rakiji, thank you. Okay, this is not a question. Ayushiji, Rahu in 6th and Ketu in 12th for Capricorn. We talked about this. So my Rahu with Moon in 5th in transit for Sagittarius, having an unconventional love. Will Guru Chandala Yoga give me trust in this partner, or can we expect cheat Saturday in third or so? First, you have to see the D1 chart. Don't just rely on transit. Okay, uh, I don't give much importance to transit. You would see that I hardly make any videos on transit. Okay, in fact, transit videos get very good views. Okay, but I want you to learn astrology and not just focusing on transit. Okay, I will make videos on transit, uh, but I want you to focus more on Mahadasha. I want you to focus more on yogas. I want you to learn the Lord through houses. I want you to learn planet through signs, planet through houses. That is real astrology. Transit is like a weather, and Mahadasha is your real destiny. How the planets in the chart are getting unfolded through the events, good or bad. Okay, so that's what I want you to focus on. Focus on, if you want to learn astrology, focus on technicalities of astrology, focus on the real learnings of astrology. Basic. You don't have to learn anything fancy. I want you to learn basic of astrology. Okay, but don't just rely more on transit. That's my request to you, and that would really help you. I can't force you. I can just tell you what has worked for me and which can save your time in this journey into the Vedic astrology. Can Ketu in the 12th house give foreign travel when it is transiting through natal Ketu for Libra? Yeah, if it is going through, uh, if you have the Dasha sequence as well, it will definitely. Ninth moon and fourth Saturn, Lord Parivartan, and 10th and 11th Mercury Lords too. Can a person be powerful dictator? Now, for that, you need to see the Namamsha as well. Okay. Dheeraj Kansal, sir, my mean Lagna and Rahu in the fourth, Chandra Ketu in the 10th. Now, please tell me how Ketu Mahadasha and Rahu Mahadasha will give results. I don't know. I'm not able to visualize it though. It's too specific. What are the effects when the Lord of Rahu Ketu houses gets exalted? It does great. You know, uh, in the example we saw, Rahu is in Aries and Ketu is in Libra right now. And let's say when Mars gets exalted or Venus gets exalted, that Rahu or Ketu will give you good result. But more so, you also have to see their placement from Rahu and Ketu. Like let's say Rahu, the Lord of the Rahu is Mars and is getting exalted. That means it is going into the sign of Capricorn, which is 10th from the Aries, which is good, right? And for Ketu, when the Lord of the Ketu gets exalted, it goes to the Pisces, which is like 6th from Pisces, which is again Adhisthana house, which will bring and challenges. Okay, this is how you have to look for it. Kriyanki Zeferando, I hope I pronounce it right. Now, Rahu Mars in 8th house Capricorn, Ketu Mercury in the 4th. What is the main effect of Pluto transiting our north node Mars conjunction, and does it affects get stronger at the end of the transit? Okay, I don't have any knowledge about Pluto. Okay, so I won't be able to guide you, help you with Pluto's transit over this. But when it comes to Rahu and Mars brings in a lot of energy. Rahu is about energy, Mars is also about energy. So when these two planets conjunct, they bring in a lot of power. They bring in uh, a lot of physical vitality. Okay, it also brings in aggression. Okay, and when it is in the eighth house, sometimes it brings in some kind of a secrecy in one's life. There is some area of life which is hidden, which nobody knows. Okay, and right, when Ketu Mercury is in the fourth, when Ketu conjuncts with Mercury, it makes you intelligent, because the planet of intelligence conjuncts with the planet which is, things which you have already accomplished. So it makes you intelligent. And when it is in the fourth house, it makes you emotionally intelligent. It increases your emotional quotient. Okay, so this is how I look at this conjunction, but I apologize, I won't be able to help you with the Pluto's transit over it. Okay, I hope this has helped you. So do Rahu Ketu has an aspect, some consider, some not. Yeah, some people don't consider it, some people, because they are not planets, right? And what I do, I use them as, a confirmation. Okay, I don't use it as a primary indication of something. I use it if I have to confirm something. Okay, and that's how I use it. And it's all about your own experiences. Okay, some, because Rahu and Ketu are not planets on their own, so their aspects doesn't really mean anything. Okay, so I don't use it as a primary tool, and I don't even use it for Gemini Karaka. I only use the seven planets which we can see through eyes. Okay, so yeah, this is how I work with Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is in the fifth. I don't know why everybody's with Rahu fifth and 11th house axis most of the times, and the one which I took sixth and 12th. Amazing. Should I do business of medical profession? Yeah, I need to look at your chart, because profession is where most of the astrologers go wrong. Okay, why? Because each person, each individual is multidimensional, and he can do multiple things at multiple time. For example, if you would have met me 10 years back, I was not doing any video work then. But now, most of my time, I'm into editing. I'm into, creating videos. So if somebody would have told me that you would be talking about mystical and occult things like astrology, but at the same time you will be doing certain artistic things, I would have never believed that, right? But this is how you have to see things. So how to deal with it? First, look at the dasha. Look at the 10th house and the first house in D1 chart. Look at the placement of D1 and D10 into the Samsa. See the planets in the Samsa Lagna. Check the uh, Vimshottari Mahadasha. And then you would be able to see what kind of a profession is suitable for you. It's not easy. Most of the times we go wrong because there are so many professions. And I remember when I interviewed Van Paul Manliji last time, he talked about this. He talked about a guy who has Rahu and Mars, and he was into some new age technology, which we were not aware of, right? But Rahu and Mars shows new age technology if it's in the 10th house and so on. But what kind of technology? Nobody knows. If a person is working in AI development, we have no idea about it. And if he has Rahumas, we can only see that something about a futuristic technology, because Mars is technology, Rahu is futuristic. right? So to know if you could go to medical profession and so on, you need to analyze your chart thoroughly. Okay, that doesn't mean you have to get a consultation. It absolutely doesn't mean you don't need it. Okay, but when you are studying your own chart, make sure you are focusing on the 10th house, 10th lord, Saturn, and study those placements with the free videos. Just make notes and you would be all right. Okay, that would really help you. Don't just go and buy a consultation from anyone. It doesn't really help. Okay, so water bearer. Sir, I have Rahu in the third house. Mars and Venus with Rahu. Venus is my seventh lord. Venus is with Rahu. What are the effects of seventh house lord is with Venus Rahu? Yeah, we discussed this about Venus in the seventh house, Rahu in the third house. Yeah, so with Rahu is in the third house. No, we discussed about Rahu in the first house, not the third house. Okay, so third house is the house of communication, and Rahu is the planet of, you know, uh, planet of confusion, and more so uh, it is about, you know, marketing, is about influencing people for doing something, right? To, you know, selling them something which they don't really need not be a cheating, but I've seen people with Rahu in the third house have excellent marketing abilities. They can read at a very high speed. They like to read about new age technology. Okay, and Rahu with their communication has the power to sway the masses because it aspects the ninth house, seventh house, and it also is in the third house, which is about, you know, communication and self effort. That is also one of the important signification of third house. Okay, I hope this has helped you. By the way, do horoscopes of successful people, Prasad, people park. So I want to ask you guys want me to do the celebrity horoscope? I'm not comfortable doing it. There is one reason because uh, I don't have the authentic time of everyone. I would be taking it from internet. I don't know how much authentic that is. And second thing is, I don't know if that person, whoever that person is, wants to share his chart with public without his consent, without his knowledge. I feel extremely uncomfortable doing celebrity horoscopes. So I just refrain myself from doing celebrity horoscope. I can do it, but I'm not comfortable with that. I want you guys to tell me what do you think about. Okay, I might take a poll on the community. You just share your thoughts about it. What do you feel about it? Okay, I can do it, or I might do it with my membership uh, folks, because that is a private group wherein I can, you know, share things and it's not public. So Rahu, Saturn in the 10th house, Lord Venus in the first house, Leo ascendant. What kind of a job? I won't be able to. I don't know. Rahu in Cancer, Ketu in Makar with Saturn, Mercury in Mars, Dashabhukti praying for death. Rahu in Cancer, Ketu in Makar with Saturn, Mercury in Mars for Gemini Lagna. Life is stalled. Rahu Dasha, Surya Bhukti praying for death. No, no, no. Okay. Mapalla Srikar Reddy, I want everybody on the stream to pray for Mapalla Srikar Reddy ji. Okay, Mapalla, I can't do anything for you from here, but I can pray for you. Okay, don't think prayers are useless. Okay, so I want everybody in the stream to put in the comment the positive vibes and prayers for this gentleman or lady, I don't know, but don't feel bad. Okay, and it's not about the planets, it's all our own karma. Okay, I'm just praying for you for a minute. Just be with me, guys. Yes, thanks for being patient. Our friend needs our blessings, our positive vibes, okay? And this is going to help you, okay? Don't feel bad about it, okay? Even if you have the worst planetary alignments, you should surrender to God, okay? Whatever your ishta, whatever your aradhya is, just don't think about astrology, okay? Because even astrologers don't have the complete knowledge. I want you to surrender to God. Don't just get afraid of your planetary alignments through astrology. I don't want you to do that. Please don't make your life worse with astrology. Make it better. Get inspired by astrology. Okay? So all of them, all the people here are praying for you. Yes, a lot of friends have all the friends have prayed for you. Even I'll pray for you in my personal prayers for you. And yes, okay, you will get guidance from the divine. Okay. Ayushi Pundir, sir, do you do personal readings? I do personal readings sometimes. Yeah. But you don't need it. Okay. Mostly I always tell people not to jump onto the consultations. Just consume the free content first. You don't need the consultation. Okay. Consultation is for the people who love me and who wants to support my work. They book consultation. Okay, for those who just need guidance or need a query, they don't need to book any consultation with me. Okay, you just keep consuming the free content. That is enough for you. Rahu in the fifth and Ketu Sun Mars in the 11th for Libra ascendant. 33 till now I didn't get any success. How to overcome from Rahu and Ketu? I don't know if it is really from Rahu and Ketu. Okay, so yes, I don't know what do you mean by a success. Okay, so if you have any specific question like when will I get a job or any specific query, then we can discuss about it. Maybe in the next stream, come and ask this question specifically, and we'll discuss that definitely. Thanks a lot for the inputs and advice. Hey, thanks, Devendra. Yeah, I'm happy it really helped you. So, does the Rahu Jupiter conjunction in Ardra be businessman? I have this in the no. Any person can be a businessman. There are many uh, kinds of businessmen. Okay, there are people who will be doing business for a certain period. Some people are going to be unsuccessful businessmen, some are going to be legendary businessmen, and so on. Okay, so don't think like it. But when Jupiter is conjunct with Rahu, what is the rulership of the Jupiter that you have to see? But conjunction of Rahu Jupiter, don't think Chandal Yoga is bad. In fact, in my uh, observation, I have seen that this Jupiter guides this Rahu very well. Prasad, what are the placements for powerful military leaders? Yes, we'll discuss this, but I'll give you a hint. It has to do with, of course, Mars, but more so with Ketu. Okay. Now, seventh Lord Venus in 12th in Swati Pada 2, which is Rahu Nakshatra or Scorpio Ascendant effect. I'm not able to visualize. Thank you so much. Yes, thanks for joining this stream. I appreciate that. Jagjit, sir, I have Saturn in the sixth house, currently in Aquarius, difficult to get a job, have a skin issues, no one seems to know what it is. Marahu is in eighth, Ketu is in second, I'm Virgo ascendant. Any thoughts? I want to know more about your Mercury. Okay, can you just tell me more about your Mercury? Thanks a lot for answering my question. This session is immensely helpful. Thanks, water bearer. That's what my intention is. My intention is to help you so that you don't need me anymore. Okay, that's what my intention is. Yeah. And yes, I have a lot of dates which I don't have ways to solve. Okay. Sending high vibrations of positive vibe. Yes, thanks a lot for these prayers. Spring walk, Tina Ji. May God bless you. May you receive divine guidance and protection. Yes. Get well sooner. Yes. Thanks a lot, guys, for praying for our friend. It means a lot. Praying for others. It's so good to see people praying for others. Hello, first time seeing this channel here. What is this about? Okay, this is about Vedic astrology. Okay, yeah. Sir, you are the genuine astronomer. I really like your. That's what matters. Just keep consuming the free content. That's enough for you. Stay tuned in. Can Ketu in Lagna give stupidity? It is not restricted to Ketu in Lagna. Okay. So what are the placement for the billionaires? I'll definitely share this, but not in this uh, session. Okay, so yes, this was mastering Rahu three-step formula. We discussed that. We discussed the formula. We discussed every question around that. If you want to join my Navamsha workshop tomorrow, I'm conducting a Navamsha workshop, which is on 7 a.m. Indian Standard Time, IST. So just convert it to your own time zone, and I'll be conducting it at 7 a.m. And the topic is how to read Navamsha chart. Okay, so just register on this link for free, and see you on the training. Namaste.